I know I keep saying this, but seriously, the months keep flying by and I literally don't know how June went by so fast. But today we're gonna talk about my June goals, what I'm planning on for July, and some of my favorites for the month. Let me just start off by saying that June was not my month. I kicked off June by, well, I kind of did something stupid. I am allergic to grass, but I decided to be nice to my husband and mow the grass for him. He's been working overtime like crazy. Our lawnmower broke, so I asked my mom if she would bring hers over, and she didn't know how much gas was in it, so I was like, let me just try and mow as much as I can as fast as possible before we run out of gas. I have a fairly decent sized yard, over an hour and a half to mow our whole yard when we're push mowing. I usually can only last 20 minutes before I can't breathe anymore, but I decided to be nice and just push through it. I couldn't breathe. My heart rate was up to like 160. Sometimes it gets up to like 180 when I mow. Like, it just is not a good thing for me. So I took a shower and I thought, you know, I'll be fine. I showered, it got everything off of me. But then the next day I had allergies like crazy, and it didn't help that like pollen was blowing all over in the air. So long story short, my allergies were crazy and it took me out for like 16 days. So literally half of this month was spent being sick. So that was really fun. My dad gave me an inhaler, so now I have that for the next time I need to mow. But all that to say, like, June was basically a wash for me because 16 of those days I was miserable. It kind of set me behind on everything I had planned. So it was a pretty full month of personal things happening. So yeah, not much really got done this month, and I honestly feel like crap about it. I have been trying really hard to not beat myself up. A lot of the stuff that happened was outside of my control. You know, that is kind of the luxury I get with having my own business, is if I need to take days off, I can, and it doesn't really, I don't have to ask permission for that. But then the flip side of that is, if you're not working for an entire month, you're also really not making money, and that part can get to me. But I'm trying to just remain hopeful and positive and not worry about that. This is editing Jordan. Can I also just add that my battery died in my car the day we were leaving to go camping. 2 weeks after that, my driver's door stopped opening from the outside. It can open from the inside and it's like unlocking itself, but it won't open. And then a couple days after that, my tire got a nail in it, and it was like that long, and it damaged the inside of the tire, and I had to get a whole new tire. It was not a good month for me. Basically, none of my goals happened except for getting ahead on YouTube videos. I powered through and I made a couple videos while I was sick, and you can go back and hear those videos and you can kind of hear my nasaliness, so I'm sorry if that's really annoying, but I was really excited about those videos and I didn't want to put everything off for who knows how long. So I did actually get ahead on YouTube this entire month. It felt really, really good to not have to worry about, okay, in a few days this video has to go up. No, it was like done a week before. I'm hoping I can do that again next month, but that was one of my goals for last month. Another goal was to upload to Cricut, and I think I uploaded like 10 designs the entire month. I just did not have time to design. I didn't have time to upload. I didn't have time to do anything besides just getting through life, you know? I had another goal to make X amount of dollars on TikTok Shop and Amazon. And while I didn't make the financial goal on TikTok Shop, I kind of exceeded my expectations on Amazon. The two of them combined kind of make the goal I had in mind. TikTok Shop has been going really well. It's not going as crazy as like the first two videos I posted. And it's kind of interesting to me that certain brand videos do better than others. And I don't know if it's based on popularity of those products, if TikTok knows my relationship to each brand, like if they know I'm closer to one than the other, like do they push that out more? I have no idea. That doesn't seem like something they would do. I'm sure it has something to do with like maybe our audiences are similar. I don't know. All I know is that it has slowed down a little bit. I've posted more videos this month than like in the 2 weeks that I did it in last month. But yeah, it's still doing fairly decent. I mean, I get paid basically to color, and I'd be posting these videos regardless, so it's nice to earn something with it and not just keep pushing out content for free, essentially. I do sometimes feel bad for like taking money from small businesses, but then I have to remember they allow the affiliates. If it wasn't working out for them, they could always turn that off. So I do feel a little bit better about that like brands could turn it off at any time. So because TikTok was doing so well, I made a page on my website for like my favorite coloring supplies, like coloring markers and coloring books. And that page is now my #1 page on my entire website, like for the last 90 days or something. Or I mean, honestly, probably for the this entire year. It is getting a very good amount of traffic. So anyone who comments saying what markers do you use, I just say it's linked in my bio, and then they can go to this page that has all of my favorite markers, all of my favorite coloring books. Honestly, it's impressive that many people are going to my website and like taking multiple steps to make a purchase. I made a good amount of money on Amazon. I'm sure this is nothing to people who actually push out Amazon content a lot, but as someone who used to make like $10, $15, $20 on a good month, I'm very happy with what I'm doing now. I'd say that's a win, and then everything else was just kind of I didn't really accomplish anything else. I did relax and have a lot of family time. We did go camping, and I will show that video here because it is the most relaxing and wonderful sounds you'll hear. I love watching this video so much.
Not inside, but
Some of my goals for July are keep up with TikTok, shop, and Amazon because that's what's working right now. I really would like to get back into surface pattern and just dive into licensing. I have taken courses like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I just never did anything with it. It's been kind of calling my name lately. I don't really want to say that's a goal because it's a really daunting thing for me, but I'm really feeling that pull right now. So maybe a goal can be to just make 4 patterns that I like or like coordinate together. I think that would be doable. And then I really do need to design. It's been a while, but every time this past month, I just was not feeling inspired. I just couldn't do it. So hopefully this month I'm feeling in better spirits and can actually design. I know I'm not alone in like your creativity going in waves, but right now it's just been such a struggle. Another personal goal I have is to convince my husband to let us get a cat or a puppy, a dog, I don't know. I've really been feeling like Tate needs a friend. I think Tate's fine being an only child, but I just think it would be fun for him to also have a friend and not always have us be the friend. I'm looking at this cat right now. I'm actually gonna go see it today. Thankfully, I have a very calm dog. He's not aggressive. He's like just a big baby, really. So I know he will be fine, but he's not very aware of social cues, really. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go see him today, and well, I guess we'll go from there. If we don't get him, it wasn't meant to be right now. So hopefully July will be a little bit better. I keep saying that. I keep hoping for better months. I think I've just also been in a rut a little bit. Like I just feel very down about everything right now, and I know all of these feelings are cyclical. Like you'll go up and down, up and down. Right now I'm feeling really down. It's been a few back-to-back months of just not being able to really get anything done, and so then I'm feeling like I'm a failure because it has to be my fault, right? But then I'm also trying to back up and be like, no, there's been outside factors that have been contributing, so it's not just you. But then I'm also like, well, you could work harder. So it's like yeah, I'm really hard on myself and I need to be better at that, but also sometimes I don't think it's a bad thing because if I can push myself to actually get motivated, then maybe it's not a terrible thing. I didn't actually read that many books this month. So the first book I actually started was These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Every time I went to read this, I fell asleep. Take my review with a grain of salt because I started this when I was sick. Every time I read it, I literally fell asleep. I was listening to the audiobook, so I don't know if it was the narrator or the content or just being sick, but I really didn't know what was going on in this book. I don't know, there's so many different point of views, and the narration of it really didn't explain when they were switching point of views, and so it always took me like a couple paragraphs to realize, oh, we switched. And sometimes it was obvious, but most times it wasn't, so I was like, who is talking right now? So I know that could be improved. Maybe in the actual book it's more spelled out. I guess how the narration is, I don't know what type of person it is, like first or second or third or whatever, but it's when it's telling everyone's point of view at the same time. So it's like Joey thought this and Rachel did this. So like, I don't know what that is, but that also happened in one of the Akadar books where it was kind of like both people's point of view at the same time without fully switching. Is that a thing? I think it's a thing. But anyways, that's kind of how this book was. I think there was a lot of names and I didn't know who everyone was. So I was like 70% in hearing a name. I'm like, I've never heard this name. And then they explained that it was the cousin. And I'm like, oh, okay. I just forgot it was the cousin. Again, probably because I fell asleep multiple times listening to this book. But I also think there's just a lot of characters and I wasn't comprehending all the names and who they were in relationship to each other. I also felt like I was dropped right into the story with no backstory. And so I often was like, why are they doing this? Why? Why? You know? So I didn't love it. I ended up giving it a 2 out of 5. But again, take my review with a grain of salt. It's got a 3.84 on Goodreads with 148,000 ratings. So other people like it more than me. The next book I read was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. And I loved this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's very much The Summer I Turned Pretty, except she ends up with the Wright brother. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was really cute and it was a really fast read for me. And I just kept wanting to wake up and keep reading it. So I highly recommend it. It's actually a very fun read. And the next book I read was The Heiress, which I've seen a lot of people talk about this. It's on like the list for the most read books so far in the reading challenge or something like that. I thought it was just okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was kind of boring. The twist at the end wasn't really all that riveting, wasn't really all that exciting. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst book I've read this year by far, but it also wasn't the best. So it's right in the middle for me. And that's all I read for this month. I really thought that, me being sick would mean that I was reading more, but what that meant is every time I picked up a book, I fell asleep. So these books took me a long time to finish. The only reason I finished Every Summer After as quick as I did was because I read it when I was camping. What books are you reading right now? I would love to know what is kind of like your must read right now. Month I talk about my favorites, and this month I of course need to talk about Elise Brienne's newest book. I have obviously her other one, but this one just came out and it is just so pretty. It's like a lot of lemon and like Paris inspired designs, which I thought was really fun. A full color page I usually don't do. And then I did this frame, which I'm obsessed with. I wasn't sure how this was gonna turn out, and I think it turned out really good with all the shading and everything. This was comparing the Restley and Ohuhu markers, and so I have a video on that. I'll be posting sometime somewhere. This one was the first one I did. This one's a lot of fun. I did it to match the cover a little bit. Yeah, I thought this one was fun. That's all I've done so far, but definitely recommend getting this. If you want to see all my favorites like I was talking about earlier, I have that linked in the description. I also got Ohuhu markers gifted to me. I made a whole video on my review. I do think they are better quality than the cheaper ones I have, like long term. So I guess you get what you pay for. My life has pretty much just been coloring lately and being sick. Oh, I have something I can show you. So one thing we did was we went on a little road trip for our anniversary. We had our 6-year wedding anniversary, and we went on a road trip along the west coast of Michigan, and we just went to a bunch of different beaches, and we got a lot of rocks. I'm gonna show you some of them. They are not wet or like polished or anything, so they don't look as good. Here's one that is really cool. It's got like this really shiny silver, and this isn't even wet or anything, but it's like just really interesting to me. We found a lot of like unique rocks, and that's kind of what my husband likes, is the ones that are like funky. Here's what I think is a lightning rock, but I'm also like just not sure. Like I think this side would be a lightning rock, and then this side is just like, I don't know, is that quartz or something? It's got like a little bit of shine to it. I honestly think this one's green when it's wet, but right now it just looks basic. Here's another one that just looks basic right now, but when it's wet, it looks like one of those ones you would find at the store. Like it just is really cool looking. I think this one would be the lightning rock. And honestly, I don't know if lightning rock is just a thing people call it in Michigan, or if it really is this. I have no idea. I don't really know anything. Here's another one of those ones that are just really funky. Look at that when it's wet. Isn't that just interesting looking? How much of a difference that made. We got a few of these really small ones that are just super pretty when they're wet. They just look like, again, ones you would buy at the store. We have this whole dish full of ones we got when we were out and about. it's kind of cool to say that we got all of these at the same trip. It was all along Lake Michigan. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with rocks. I do want to tumble these and make them shiny. I also know I'm someone who gets fixations on hobbies and then never touches them again after 3 months. So I don't really want to spend all the money to polish these, but they look so much better when they are polished or like wet. So I don't know, it might be worth it. Because I would like to put these all in a jar and like call this Lake Michigan Year 6 or something like that. Like so I can know that these are the rocks we got when we went on our anniversary trip. I think that would be special. I think we went to like 6 different beaches or something like that. Some of them were overcrowded. Some of them the dog could go. Sometimes they couldn't. So I felt really weird at the ones that the dog couldn't go down to because then my husband was just waiting up at the top with my dog. And honestly, that part was frustrating because everything online was saying it's dog friendly, it's dog friendly. And then you get there and it's like, no dogs, no dogs. It's like, someone needs to update the freaking websites then, because here I was thinking I picked out all the dog friendly beaches and half of them, more than half of them weren't. So that was annoying. But anyways, those are my favorites for the month. I don't really have much for you other than that. I will talk to you next time. Sorry for such a chaotic video today. I feel like that's a representation of my brain the last month. Let me know what books you're reading. Let me know what you're vibing with right now, what your favorites are. All right, well, I'm gonna go. See you next time. Bye.